how God works in our lives through His Word. St. Matthew chapter 14 is a powerful chapter that reveals God's presence in our lives, especially in times of fear, uncertainty, and need. It contains key events: the beheading of John the Baptist, the feeding of the 5,000, Jesus walking on water, and miraculous healings. These stories show how God works dynamically, providing for us, strengthening our faith, and reminding us that He is always near. The beheading of John the Baptist, verses 1 to 12, standing for truth in a challenging world. This passage recounts the martyrdom of John the Baptist. He spoke the truth courageously and suffered because of it. Herod, influenced by fear and pride, ordered John's execution. Speaking the truth can be costly. Following God's way sometimes means standing against injustice even when it is difficult. God's plan is greater than our suffering. Though John's life was cut short, his mission was fulfilled, preparing the way for Jesus. Even when facing opposition, staying true to God leads to eternal rewards. He gives us strength and courage when we stand for truth and justice. Even in suffering, He is in control. The feeding of the 5,000, verses 13 to 21, God's provision in our need. Jesus, moved by compassion, multiplies 5 loaves and 2 fish to feed a huge crowd. God provides abundantly no matter how little we have. When we surrender it to God, He multiplies it beyond what we can imagine. Compassion moves God. Jesus saw the people's hunger and responded with love. He cares about our daily needs. Faith always requires action. The disciples brought what they had, and Jesus blessed it. We must trust and act in faith for God to work in our lives. When we bring our small offerings, our time, skills, or resources, God uses them to bless others and meet needs beyond our imaginations. Jesus walks on water, verses 22-33, trusting God in life's storms. The disciples were caught in a storm, terrified. Jesus walked on water to them, and Peter, with faith, stepped out but began to sink when he doubted. Jesus saved him and calmed the storm. Storms will come, but Jesus is near. Life is full of struggles, but Jesus never leaves us alone. Because faith over fear. Peter walked on water when he focused on Jesus, but sank when he focused on storm. We must keep our eyes on Christ. Even when we fail in faith, Jesus is ready to lift up when we cry out to Him. He walks with us through every storm, strengthening our faith and reminding us that He is always in control. Jesus heals the sick, verses 32 to 36. The power of faith in Jesus. When Jesus arrived at Gennesaret, people brought the sick to Him. Even touching the edge of His robe healed them. Faith brings healing when we trust in Jesus. He can restore not just for our bodies, but our hearts and minds. God's power is unlimited. Even the smallest touch of faith connected to His miracles. We should bring others to Jesus. Just as people carried the sick to Jesus, we should bring others to Him through prayer, encouragement, and faith. How God works in our lives. He heals, restores, and invites us to trust Him fully, knowing He has the power to transform our lives. Living with faith and trust in God. God is always present in suffering and injustice. God provides abundantly when we trust Him. God is with us in life's storms and calls us to trust Him. God heals and restores those who come to Him in faith. God works in our lives dynamically and meaningfully. He strengthens us in trials, provides for our needs, teaches faith in storms, and heals our brokenness. No matter what we face, He invites us to trust Him fully. Amen.